Hi, this is Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com, here to talk about a fascinating fight. Carl the Cobra Froch against the Viking warrior Mikkel Kessler for the Cobra's Super Middleweight Championship. Now, this video is intended for gamblers. My first rule in structuring a bet is to eliminate outcomes, and I believe you could make a lot of money if you're able to just eliminate one outcome from the mix. That enables you to straddle the bet, to be on both sides of the bet, so that if either guy wins, you make a profit. I believe you can do that here, but understand the risk involved in what I'm about to say. Carl Froch, excellent fighter. Carl Froch has recently won decisions over Jean Pascal. That was 3 fights ago, right? His last 3 opponents were Pascal, Jermaine Taylor, and Andre Durrell. And Froch beat Pascal by decision, and Pascal, of course, would go on to become one of the light heavyweight champions. In fact, Pascal's only loss in his entire career was to Carl Froch. In his last fight, Carl Froch was awarded the decision over Andre Durrell. Andre Durrell last night handily beat Arthur Abraham. Don't be confused by the disqualification, which was valid. Before that disqualification, Durrell was dominating the fight, and even in the 11th round, you will see that Durrell was still, in my opinion, somewhat in control of the fight. If you look at the judges' scorecards, King Arthur would have needed a knockout to win the fight. Now, Carl Froch fought Durrell and was able to eke out a decision over the Matrix. I've looked at the styles of both Carl Froch and Mikkel Kessler, and I've reached a conclusion that while Mikkel Kessler can win this fight by knockout and can also win this fight by decision, I believe that Carl Froch can only win this fight by knockout. I believe for Carl, it is all or nothing. Either he gets the KO and the win, or he goes home a loser. My recommendation on this fight is a straddle. I know that's emotionally unsatisfying to many, but I'm only in it to try to make money. I believe you want to play this on both sides. You want to take Mikkel Kessler to win. And let me point out, even though Kessler lost his last fight to Andre Ward, Kessler is not a shot fighter. Quite frankly, styles make fights. And those of you who follow my videos know that I picked Ward before that fight. Right? I believe Kessler, you want to bet on Kessler to win the fight. Don't take a prop bet on it. Don't take a round bet on it. Just take Kessler to win the fight. But you want to straddle it, because Carl Froch could well win this fight by knockout. In fact, the way Kessler holds his hands, I believe Kessler is vulnerable to one of Froch's best punches, and that is an uppercut that Carl Froch is able to throw from across the ring. The genius of Carl Froch is that he can hit you from a different area code, and he's very accurate with his power shots. So the bet should be Kessler to win, Carl Froch by KO. Don't spend any money whatsoever on Carl Froch by decision. Let me also point out that you should be able to do well, because I believe Kessler is a less than minus 200 to win the fight outright, and Carl Froch, who is the underdog, you should be able to get significant odds, at least a plus 250 on Carl Froch by KO. So you want to straddle this bet. Let's talk about the reasons why. The blueprint fight, in my opinion, is Jermaine Taylor against Carl Froch. Taylor operates out of the same kind of shell and throws the same kind of jab that Mikkel Kessler does. Jermaine Taylor was dominating that fight. And let me point out, that's a fight in which I picked Froch to win the fight. Jermaine Taylor was dominating that fight, and Taylor, in fact, significantly, was able to drop Carl Froch in the fight. But, of course, Jermaine Taylor has significant stamina problems, something Mikkel Kessler does not have, and something Carl Froch does not have. And Taylor faded late in that fight, the second half of the fight, enabling Carl Froch to get the 12th round KO. I do not believe that Mikkel Kessler is going to fade in the same manner. But what I do know is that Kessler, just like Taylor, fights out of a shell and is very hard to hit. His defense is very hard to get by. A structured fighter like that is going to give Carl Froch a hard time. Also, let's talk hand speed. Kessler has the faster hand speed than Carl Froch, right? So I believe Froch is going to be methodically outpointed throughout the fight, just like King Arthur was last night against Andre Durrell. That said, Carl Froch, in my opinion, is one of the best knockout punchers in the sport. What I particularly like about Carl Froch is he tries to bait his opponent into a fight, not a boxing match. At the beginning of this match, the very first round, you're going to notice that Carl Froch drops his left hand, literally, just like Roy Jones, just like Anthony Mundine. Carl Froch drops his left hand, doesn't even hold it up, turns sideways, always has the right hand cupped, and literally is inviting the other fighter into a brawl. If the fighter comes in and tries to watch Carl Froch's right hand, Carl Froch has a devastating left hook. I don't expect him to land the hook on Kessler, who knows how to block the punch, but Froch has a devastating left hook. Then, of course, Froch, from distance, doesn't tip his punches. He can throw that uppercut that I've been talking about, and I believe all Froch needs to do is to hit you once to materially change the fight. In other words, Carl Froch has that kind of power. So I don't think Carl Froch fighting in Denmark is remotely concerned about the judges, because I believe he knows his only chance to win this fight is by KO. And even though Mikkel Kessler has never been KO'd before, when you have the punching power that Carl Froch has, I believe a knockout is a distinct possibility. So, my recommendation is Kessler to win the fight, and I believe Kessler can win the fight because Kessler has the more natural gifts, and Kessler has also diffused big-time punchers and hyper-aggressive fighters in the past, right? He beat Libredo Andrade handily. I believe that Carl Froch isn't the kind of boxing chameleon that Andre Ward is. Froch can't change styles like Andre Ward did. Froch doesn't like to fight too up close, so there's not going to be a clashing of heads like there was when Andre Ward fought Mikkel Kessler. So I believe you want to straddle this fight. Kessler to win, Froch by KO. I believe it's a great fight. I believe either can happen, and based on the way the odds look, I believe you can make money regardless of which side wins. Let me know what you think. Leave your thoughts for me at gamblersadvisory.com, and of course leave your comments for me here. And as I always say, if I'm wrong, in other words, if Carl Froch wins this fight by decision, punish me in the ratings here on YouTube, but if I'm right, give me 5 stars. This should be one of the better matches in the Super 6. Let me also point out, too, that Froch, after he fights Mikkel Kessler, is supposed to fight King Arthur in another barn burner. Thanks for watching.